some of these slides should complement what the speakers have been presenting. So the first one is going back to, I totally agree with what the two speakers with excellent presentations. Just going back to sustainability, we have to look ahead. We'll have to look forward because of the world population growth. Some estimates are looking into 9 to 10 billion world population in the next 20, 30 years. With all these number of people who needs feeding, then you'll have to have a lot of vegetable oil that needs to be supplied. And I think the speakers have mentioned that palm oil at the moment is probably one of the most sustainable because of its productivity. You can see here, if we visualize how much land it's needed to grow 1 ton of these vegetable oils, we can see that palm oil is probably the most productive. It requires 1/4 of a hectare here, for example. But how does that correlate? How can we visualize these productivity to what the world will need in about 30 years' time? So with that 225 million tons per year, this is how much land that would require to produce these amount of vegetable oil. So for example, with soy, then you probably have to grow half of the US land just for soy, just to produce that 225 million tons. With canola or rapeseed, then a lot of Europe will probably have to be converted into fields for these rapeseeds. But if you look at palm oil, because of its very high productivity, then we can see that it's just this much land basically to produce the same amount. So that is going back to our understanding of when we think about how do we supply demands for the future generation, for future populations, whether it's in China, whether it's throughout the world, then we'll have to look at these kind of productivity. So that's the first one. The next one is probably this one. So this is a simplification of what is inside those palm oil. We'll leave palm kernel out. It's slightly different. And this is from Dr. Sundram, 2003. So a lot of the focus, again, it's looking at just these palmitic acid, saturated fatty acids. And I think one of an audience asking the question with that 2021 paper a few months ago, last year, it was actually just looking at this palmitic acid and what the effects are on those tumoric cancerous breast cells from those animal models. But then if we have a look at what is inside that palm oil, we forget about this one. So these oleic acid, it's a very good omega-9 unsaturated fatty acids, and it counts for half. So it's very much balanced between the saturated fatty acids and also the unsaturated fatty acids. Now, where have we seen these kinds of unsaturated fatty acids, omega-9 oleic acid? And it goes back to what Dr. Sun has shown in her presentations. It's looking into olive oil, basically. So you can find that some of these data, so here I'm showing just a meta-analysis from 2019, that palm oil is just as good as any other oil. And in fact, if we compare it with olive oil, because it contains also high amounts of oleic acid, olive oil over 70%, palm oil is very balanced, then we can see that it shows very similar results here. You can see the diamond bar very close to the center. So again, we forget these kind of things, and it's a good idea, you know, with these kinds of webinars, with these kind of talks, it's going back into just exactly what is inside palm oil, because all these data doesn't show what we fear, but it shows otherwise because of these oleic acids. And just the last one, just to add on something. So it's about pediatric health, and we can see that if we look into human breast milk, we can see that the composition is actually quite high in saturated fatty acids, and also here again is palmitic acids. And again, I think everybody agrees that human milk for that first 3 to 6 months of infant childhood and growth is probably the best nutrition to give. And we can see that manufacturers, when they try to help mothers who cannot breastfeed, that would then rely on formula, then this is what the fatty acids of breast milk looks like. So this is what the profile looks like with its C18, C16, and so on. And this is what a mass-produced commercial formula looks like. And you can see the yellow bars. You will have to have palm oil added to these formula, so then it can resemble what is required from human breast milk for that 3 to 6 months of exclusive breastfeeding. So again, these are some of the things that I would like to add upon. In addition to, I totally agree with what the two speakers are saying. So here are some of the things that we can think about, and we'll have to try always to think about future generations, future populations, and how we can try to provide their needs. Okay, thank you for that.